Welcome to Call Me Courage Midweek Inspiration and Motivation. I'm Kenna, and this is a gentle pause in the middle of your week, a moment to breathe, reflect, and reconnect with your inner courage. This series is about me inspiring you and maybe helping you to spark your own motivation along the way. These short reflections are offered as a space to slow down, listen inward, and realign with what feels true for you so you can move forward with clarity, intention, and heart. So let's begin. My question for you this week, do you pause? Do you want to know the power of pausing? What does it even mean? There are so many ways to pause. Pausing when you're telling a story, letting the moment land, pausing in a conversation, giving someone else space to speak, pausing when you're so overwhelmed you feel like you can't even take a breath, pausing when you're so angry that you want to scream your head off, pausing when you're so excited you can barely contain yourself, pausing to reflect on your life, where you've been, where are you going. In one of our recent episodes, Sandra and I talked about taking a step back. Well, this is the pause. The pause is the sacred space between reaction and response, between impulse and intention, between chaos and clarity. As I started writing this episode, I smiled to myself and thought, of course, Saturn. With my love of astrology in the sky, I often ask, where is this energy coming from? And when it comes to pausing, that feels like good old Saturn, also known as Old Father Time. And here's some little perspective. Saturn is the sixth planet from the sun, sitting between Jupiter and Uranus. In astrology, Saturn represents structure, discipline, maturity, and long-term growth. It moves slowly, taking about 28 to 30 years to circle the zodiac. And so the zodiac is all the 12 signs, Aries, all the way through Pisces. So it takes 28 to 30 years for that to happen. And it spends roughly 2.5 years in each sign. So Saturn doesn't rush. Saturn does not react impulsively. Saturn builds brick by brick. Right now, Saturn is making a rare transit through Aries, a bold, fiery, action-oriented sign. This shift began in May 2025 and restarted in February 2026. And Saturn will remain in Aries until 2028. Now think about that combination of the planet's energy structure, discipline, and Aries' first sign of the zodiac, which is a fire sign, bold, energetic. That's how Aries are. Aries wants to go. Saturn says, wait. Aries says, act now. Saturn whispers, stop, think, commit, then act. That's the pause I'm talking about. When Saturn meets Aries, we're invited to slow down before launching forward, to reflect before reacting, to build our goals with intention instead of rushing impulsively toward the next shiny thing. The pause isn't punishment, it's preparation. When we embrace it instead of resisting it, we give ourselves space to mature, to integrate lessons, and to act with clarity and purpose. And that, my friends, is power. Now, I'll tell you another little story when I should have paused. So many moons ago, I had asked my son to take care of the outdoor plants while I was away on a business trip. When I came home, the plants were dead. Well, I did not pause. I did not ask questions. I didn't even give him a chance to explain. I was mad. I rarely got mad at my son, but when I did, I said my piece and then I stopped talking until my anger subsided. The reason I was mad is that it was rare for me to ask my son to do any chores, and I was upset that he couldn't do this one thing. I reacted instead of listening. Later, when I shared this story with my boss, I mentioned that I wasn't speaking to my son over the plants. He said, Kenna, it was hotter than you can even imagine. Geez, give him a break. At that moment, I realized I had missed. If I had paused, taken a few deep breaths, and truly listened without judgment, I would have learned that it's simply too hot for the plants. The pause would have changed everything. It would have created understanding instead of distance. It would have preserved connection instead of hurt feelings. My pause would have gained so much goodwill and a lot more peace for both of us. In my example, the pause affected both people in the situation, but sometimes the pause only affects yourself. So, for example, there was a season in my life when I was completely swamped at work, overwhelmed. I just kept plugging away, burning the candle at both ends. And guess what was happening? Burnout, of course. What did I need to do? I needed to take the pause, take a deep breath, meditate, get centered. Instead of spinning, I should have written down everything on my plate, chose the top 3 priorities, and allowed the rest to sit lower on the totem pole. Not everything needs to be handled right now. And I can almost hear some of you saying, but I don't even have time to breathe. And I'm going to tell you, yes, you do. Because if you don't create the pause, your body may eventually create one for you. I am someone who naturally wants to take care of everyone else. I tend to put myself last. Did I take moments for myself along the way? Yes, but not if it meant disappointing someone or not meeting someone else's expectations. And over time, that kind of stress really adds up. And now that I'm retired, I had to face some heart health challenges, including AFib. And after a lot of reflection and meditation, I truly believe years of stress played a role. The blessing? I have an incredible medical team. And I have time now. I have the space. I have the faith that healing is happening. But the lesson is clear. I should have taken a pause. I need to pause. I need to take care of myself. And maybe you do too. So let's do that right now if you have a minute. I want you to get comfortable. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold and release your breath through your mouth. And hold. And keep repeating this while I read you the mantra for the week. I trust the pause. I breathe before I respond. I allow space for wisdom to rise. I act with intention, not impulse. In the pause, I find my power. My dear friends, please try to take a pause and take care of yourself. As I wrap up this week's session on the power of the pause, I want to point you toward a beautiful resource if you're curious about astrology. One of my favorite places to learn and continue learning is Nightlight Astrology. Adam Ellenboss, the creator of Nightlight Astrology, is just amazing. You'll learn about astrology. And even if you don't know astrology, he just has a lot of spiritual wisdom. It fits right into my wheelhouse. It's reflective, thoughtful, grounded, and meaningful. I'm currently enrolled in his Hellenistic astrology course. Even though I've studied astrology for many years and logged many hours, I truly believe we are lifelong students. There is always more to understand, more nuances to explore, and more wisdom to integrate. Adam is a gifted teacher, and he has a wonderful team supporting the work as well. So if astrology sparks something in you, check out Light Astrology on YouTube with Adam Ellenboss. It's a beautiful place to begin or to deepen your journey. So as we close, remember this. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to choose differently. And you are allowed to trust what feels true for you. I want to thank you for joining the Call Me Courage midweek motivation. Until we meet again, choose courage gently. And always remember your strength lies within. Bye-bye.